so much for joining me today. I'm Colleen Klimczak. I'm an organizational and productivity coach and a certified professional organizer. I own Peace of Mind Professional Organizing, LLC. Since 2003, I've been helping my clients live better lives through organizing and organizational and productivity coaching. I support my clients and my community with coaching, in-person and virtual organizing, my weekly podcast called Your Organized Life with Colleen Klimczak, a free weekly virtual productivity session called Finish Line Friday, a free weekly email newsletter, and regular content on Facebook and Instagram. I also offer presentations and professional development to groups and companies. Coming soon, I'll be launching a membership circle to support my community with even more coaching and productivity content. Want to finish strong this week? Join me for Finish Line Friday every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Central for a 2-hour productivity session. Drop me an email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com to request my Zoom room link or follow the Zoom room link on my Instagram or Facebook pages. Welcome to Your Organized Life, episode 167. These last few days, I have been pondering upcoming writing topics for February and March. After goal setting and then routines, I'll move on to other supports for us and our productivity and to do what is important to us. And I personally have been pondering meal planning for myself and our household, for my parents later this month, and for other family members who will need make-ahead and freezer meals for a very busy upcoming season of life. So what finally occurred to me as those two trains of thoughts rolled through my head is to share the meal planning thoughts as support for all of us in whatever season of life we find ourselves in. So a 2-for-1 bonus, right? Very often, our routines are in existence to help support us in our wellness or our day-to-day, and meal planning fits right in. I presented a meal planning presentation last week to a lovely group at the Wilmington Public Library. It was my first opportunity to present this topic this year, and certainly my first time at the Wilmington Public Library. I updated my meal planning presentation a few years ago now, and I start out with a few questions. The first question I ask in the presentation is, what are your meal planning goals? People choose meal planning for so many reasons. We have always planned our meals personally. I really don't know how to not do it. The practice saves us money when we lessen our environmental impact and we waste less food by eating the food we already own, or when we can take advantage of sales or bulk pricing on items, and when we don't have to rely on eating out or fast foods or convenience foods. The practice saves us time and trouble when I can shop less often, and also when I can adjust my plan around events or seasons in our schedule and plan leftovers for busy weeknights and make my own convenience foods, or when I can chop and prepare food for multiple meals at once. The practice does help us to eat healthier too. And for me, that means home cooking, scratch cooking, no mystery ingredients, not relying on fast food or, high sodium takeout food. And the practice helps us to enjoy our meals more. So we can choose foods we like, we can plan around new skills if we want with friends or family, or we can try new foods. So those are a few of the broad goals that I hear when I ask clients and class participants about their meal planning goals. But meal planning is a strategy. It takes time to get up and running, and I'm not going to lie, right? It helps to have goals in mind for this new practice because those goals, those are our why, will help us to stay motivated to make changes and also will guide our steps as we plan our meals. Which brings us to the next question that I always ask in the presentation, and that is, what does healthy eating mean to you? Now, that is a popular goal for meal planning. I hear that a lot, but it means different things to different people. Perhaps you need to plan meals around food allergies or sensitivities. You or someone in your family might need gluten or dairy-free options. Maybe you're a vegan or a vegetarian. Perhaps you need to make adjustments like eating lower sodium foods or healthy weight loss for medical reasons. Maybe you are trying to broaden the palate of young children in your house and you want to introduce a variety of foods. All of these are good answers, but they do vary from house to house and from menu plan to menu plan. So we start with, what are your meal planning goals? And then we ask what healthy means to us. And then we start making our plan. As we make our plan, we start with what we know and what we have. I was chatting with a woman after the recent meal planning presentation, and she gave me a long list of foods that she can't eat. And I am sure that that is very frustrating. But we need to shift our thinking and look at what we can eat. What do we know we can eat? What do we know we like to eat? What are our favorites? What are our family's favorites already? What are the recipes that I've made for myself, my household, my parents, my other family members? What has already been successful? Yes, we can start with these. We start with our favorites, the food we already know how to make. I am sure that you have a list of foods that you would eat right now. Make that list. Don't edit yet. You can, but not yet. So go ahead and make that list. I did this when my sons were much younger, obviously much younger, and we came up with more than 20 dishes that everyone liked. It was very empowering. We realized that we know more than we thought, which means that we are probably doing better already than we thought. So after we make a note of what we know, we look at what we have. Without going to the grocery, unless you have to, what do you already have on hand to cook? Maybe we want to save money and time with our meal planning, right? We don't have to wait. We don't have to go out and buy gadgets or make a big production. We choose a few of our favorites that fit in with our goals and what we feel is healthy. We put those on the menu for the next few days. And look at that, your meal planning, right? Okay, so how to actually make this happen? I will use me as an example because then I don't have to ask for permission. And also because I have a few new goals that I'm working on right now. We consistently use meal planning to eat healthy, to cut down on waste, and I specifically use meal planning and batch cooking to save time and to use our resources well and save money. And I consistently use meal planning for our dinners, which also means that I can often warm up leftovers for lunch too. But not every day because I am not near a kitchen some days at lunchtime. Therefore, one of my new goals is to use meal planning for breakfast and lunch too, for the same reasons we meal plan for dinner. To eat healthier, save money, save time, increase enjoyment, etc. And the follow-up question of, what does healthy eating mean to me, guides my planning. For both breakfast and lunch, I need protein and fiber and fruits and veggies. I need to eat enough to fuel my body, but not so much I feel sluggish or sleepy. I want quick but nutritious breakfast items that I don't have to think about. On the days I'm out of the office, I need cold, portable foods for lunch that can be eaten during my commute. So, no soup. Can you imagine? But I also grew tired of my lunch go-tos, and now I need more options. If I was coaching myself, next question, what do I know, right? I start with what I know. I already know I have a few breakfasts that I really like and that fit into my requirements of protein, fiber, quick, and can be made ahead of time. So off the top of my head, I could make, with a side of fruit on all of these, overnight oats with oats, extra protein skim milk and nuts, and that gets me to 20 grams of protein. I could also make Greek yogurt with fruit and granola, a bagel thin with bacon and spinach, cottage cheese with peanut butter toast, and scrambled eggs and toast if I have the time. And I also am perfectly fine eating dinner leftovers for breakfast because why not? If I'm also looking at what I have on hand the ingredients to make all of those ideas work. And to work with my requirement of quick and can be made ahead of time, I can set up jars of overnight oats in the fridge today for the next few days, or set up containers with serving sizes of Greek yogurt and cottage cheese today for a few days to grab in the morning. All right, with better breakfasts now planned, I can also look at packing my lunch for when I'm out of the house. And that is typically no more than 3 days out of 7. I mentioned they need to be cold, portable, and able to be eaten as I drive. Asking the question for lunch, what do I know? My ideas are not many, unfortunately. My go-to for work lunches on the road are hard-boiled eggs, chopped raw veggies, fruits, nuts, cheese, crackers, etc. I have recently sampled different brands of meal replacement bars because they are so convenient and portable. And I like sandwiches, but we don't eat lunch meat quickly enough so I don't buy it. And anything that's like a tuna salad or a chicken salad, that will not work as I drive. So as I wrote this and I read this out loud, I realize I really need to step up my lunch game. So asking the what do I know question, I realize I need more ideas. I need to know more. So that sounds like some research online for ideas and suggestions. So the good news is that I don't need many portable lunches, and based on the very short list above, if I start with what I have the ingredients for my go-to work lunch and more bars on hand. So at least for this week, I am solid, and I'll make a note to ask the internet for more handheld lunch ideas and plan to purchase those ingredients on my next grocery run. And last night when I batch cooked, I made some hard-boiled eggs and chopped some extra veggies for lunches. The other meal planning goal I am working on is finding and then batch cooking and freezing meals that freeze well so I can stock my freezer and the freezers of my parents and other loved ones who'll need healthy foods and convenience in the coming months. I know my goal, and I know what healthy means to all 3 households I want to cook for. So if I start with what I know, I quickly realize I don't know enough. I don't know what freezes well. For example, as I was writing this, a quick Google search told me that rice does freeze well. And I have a number of recipes that are great for batch cooking and start with rice and protein and veggies. Thankfully, I have at least a few recipes I can get started on with what I already know and already have, and I will need to learn more. Now that I have this written up, and I wrote this on a Sunday afternoon, I will get really specific about how I spent the next 2 hours after I finished writing this article. So yesterday, I made andouille sausage with green peppers and tomatoes over cheesy grits. It is so good. That was dinner last night and likely a lunch or two. I also made a sausage and chicken gumbo in the crock pot and the rice to go with it, and that will be many other lunches and dinners this week. I made those hard-boiled eggs for the on-the-go lunches, and I chopped extra veggies when I was doing the gumbo prep. And those are already waiting to be packed in lunches. I also did make overnight oats for a couple of mornings and a few bowls of Greek yogurt with fruit. And I made some extra coffee to refrigerate and then go with protein shakes this week for protein coffee. Do you have goals this week or month or year that can be met with better nutrition, or maybe saving money or saving time or making life easier for yourself in general? Yep, me too. Consider giving meal planning a try. Start with your goals and what's healthy for you, and then ask the next questions. What do you know? And what do you have? Support around getting things done, getting the important things done, successfully meeting our goals, is what productivity coaching is all about. If it's time to invest in yourself and explore coaching for organizing and productivity, I would love to hear from you. Drop me a line via email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com or message me through my social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you next week.